Moon here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. Today we're actually not on Hypixel and instead are doing a parkour map. This map was made by Zombie1111 and there's all the details and stuff that it took him to build this map and stuff. And so yeah, let's see, so there's 3 different types of map. There's the sky parkour, which is very good for speedrunners and apparently recommended to play last, so we'll wait on that. We have the parkour lines. It's the favorite and apparently recommended to play first. And then the jungle parkour, so parkour in a fancy jungle, not so good for speedrunners. Seeing as parkour lines is the one that they recommend first, I think that's the one that we're going to do today. And as always, while I'm doing the parkour, we're just going to chat about different topics. I hope you guys enjoy the topic that we picked. Without further ado, let's get started. So, about a year ago, my family made the tough decision to put down our dog, whom we had for about 12 years. She was very sick, so we knew that was the right thing to do, but that doesn't change the fact it was hard, or that I miss her very much. So, in honor of her memory, I want to share some of my favorite memories involving Kisha, and talk about the positive impact she had on my life. So, we got Kisha when I was about 6 years old. She was a boxer lab mix, and I'll post a pic on the screen now so you know what she looks like, and I don't have to attempt and probably fail to describe how she looks. We got her as a puppy, and the first time I met her, Mom brought her into the van, and she instantly started jumping up on me and my brothers and licking us excessively. She seemed so full of energy, and this would be something about her that would never change, even in her last days. Now, we quickly found Kisha was very hard to train. For as long as we had her, all she was able to be taught to do was sit. And she also knew lie down, though she would refuse to do it if the floor wasn't soft enough for her. In other words, she would not do it on hardwood or tile. She also knew come, but like lie down, didn't always listen to it. I guess she never saw her family as being head dog over her, but there was never any doubt that she loved us. We couldn't let her outside with a leash of some sort, or she'd run off, but we also knew she would always come back to us if she did manage to escape. We were her home and her family, and she always found her way back to us every time she managed to squeeze her way through an open door, or she would find herself jumping a fence. Despite not being the most obedient of dogs, she was definitely one of the best for comforting one when they are upset. One of my earliest memories of her was me sitting in my room crying because I had just discovered that I was about to move from Indiana, the state I was born in, to Georgia. I was 7 years old, and the idea of leaving everything I knew, including another dear pet of mine who would not be coming, was hard for me to process. That is when Kisha found her way into my room, and seeing me on the floor crying, she went over to some of my toys and grabbed the leg of my American Girl doll and dragged it over to where I was crying and put her in my lap. At the time, I thought nothing of it and just hugged the doll as tightly as I could, as Kisha laid down next to me with her head in my lap and watched me cry. Looking back, it did seem like a weird thing for her to do, especially as she hasn't done anything like it since. But it was an important moment for me, as it was when I started to realize I was going to be okay, that this move wasn't the end of the world, especially as I would have my family, and I would have Kisha. This was also the moment when Kisha began to be more to me than just a pet. She started to become the one stable thing in my life. The move was rough on my family, and one day I'll do a video talking about that part of my life and why it was so hard. But I want this video to be about Kisha, and not that. But while our family struggled, Kisha was our one constant. Times were stressful, she'd always be there for a snuggle or to get into trouble in such a way that all tension was broken. We found ourselves laughing instead. When our family started doing foster care, we found Kisha to be great with kids. She never bites, even when little ones pulled her ears and tail. Instead, she gives kisses and was gentle. Kisha was a medium-sized dog on the larger side, and she was strong, but she was never one to hurt anyone. Few examples of how strong she is was that she broke a several-inch thick wooden post, which she was hooked onto so we could leave her outside without her escaping, and then dragged said post across our front yard until her chain finally broke. She also accidentally flipped me once while I was playing with her outside. The chain got wrapped around my foot, she pulled it, and I flipped, and that's how I broke my left arm. I never blamed her for that, as it was an accident and more the chain's fault than hers. I knew she would never hurt me on purpose. She was also a good jumper. She would often jump over our couch with us sitting in it, and also jumped any fence we ever had around our yard. Another move occurred, and once again Kisha went with us. I then graduated high school, and father found another job out of state, so my parents and two of my brothers moved, while me and my eldest brothers stayed at the house we were at. And since I am still going to a state university that was nearby, during all this, Kisha stayed with me. She was with me through 2 pretty rough moves, and now she was with me at the start of college and my first year living separate from my parents. That year was a rough one for me. I was struggling with the church I was going to, was watching a friend group I treasured tear itself apart, trying to take care of a pretty large house by myself, and taking 5 classes. I was never that close to my eldest brother, so for the most part, that year was a lonely one. And many days, Kisha was the only reason I got up. I had to care for her. She needed to be let out. She liked being loose. I started letting her into my room, even though she wasn't supposed to be allowed upstairs, just so I had someone there while I was working on homework. She even slept with me sometimes, especially when the loneliness was at its worst. But that was how it's always been. Whenever I felt like loneliness was going to consume me, Kisha was there to remind me that I was never truly alone, that I had unconditional love and reasons to keep on going. People talk about how their pets were lifelines, guardian angels protecting them and keeping them close to God. For me, this was so true. Kisha was my physical reminder that God was always there for me, a seeable demonstration of what unconditional love is. When I felt my first real sadness, it was Kisha who was there bringing me my doll to hold so I wouldn't feel lonely. And during each hard year of my life, she would, outside of God, be my greatest comfort. When family and friends failed me, Kisha was there for a snuggle or a bit of mischief, to steal my food or go on a long walk with. As my relationship with God grew, I was so grateful for Kisha. It was a stepping stone for putting my complete trust in God. When I was younger, Kisha was my one constant, but this led directly to me finding God, and for Him becoming my ultimate constant and my ultimate comfort. For all these reasons, and so many more not mentioned, saying goodbye to Kisha was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I sat in the back of the van with her on the way to the vet and pet her fur as she was put to sleep. It's been a year since that day, and I still miss her terribly. I still struggle with feelings of loneliness, and it's hard not having her to turn to when things get really bad. But I also know it was the right time. She was in pain, and she'd shown me I had a God I could turn to, even when she would no longer be with me. So that's why I want to make this video, as a thank you to the dog who had such a big part in me of being who I am today, and as a reminder to anyone listening that God is the ultimate comforter, and He loves you, just as I know He loves me, and just as I know that He sent me Kisha to show me just how amazing that love really is. So that's where I'm going to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me play through this parkour. I plan to do more on this map and continue it next week, so I hope you'll be there to join me on that little adventure with yet another topic to discuss. And yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye! Also, the map is linked in the description in case you guys play it too.